All right, I'm up here on a reasonably warm, it's like 30 degrees, late February day, leap year day, February 29th. My actual project today is firewood because I'm pretty much out, but I have to take some measurements in the outhouse for the fitting of the solar system. So I figured I'd back up and give a tour, talk a little bit about what I did over the summer before I was recording this stuff, because I am going to record the solar aspect of it, so might as well get you caught up. So the first real priority when I got this land was an outhouse. It's not so hard for me to use the woods, especially if it's one night, but when you want to come for like a couple days or a week, it's not as much fun, and also makes it really unattractive for visitors because as much Papa Squad as it works, but yeah. So anyway, the outhouse was a priority, and I did not want a pit levee, like a outhouse with just a hole, for a couple different reasons. First, they're absolutely disgusting. Second, I didn't want to have to worry about the damage I could cause to the land. I'm near the Saco River, I'm near a brook, so I want to be really careful about what goes into the water system, because that could harm the ecosystem. So I went with a compost toilet, and I thought this should be easy, so I designed my own and decided to design my own solar system, which will be way overkill for my needs. We'll get to that, but backing up a little bit, this is what I came up with here, was this outhouse. Now this was a kit. I got this from Jamaica Cottages, and I'll put that link below. This is the greatest company. They basically give you so many different options of cabins and things like outhouses, sheds. You can order them as a kit. You can just buy the design. You can even buy them already put together. I couldn't do that because my land doesn't have an address, and I don't think there's any way I would have gotten it all the way out here. It's not, near the road. You've probably seen in videos how far it is from the road. So I bought the kit. I didn't have any power tools. I also didn't really have a whole lot of experience with this stuff, and I was in a rush. So I went with the kit. Really glad I did. It was super duper easy. 2 days, 16 hours total, using a pass load gas-fired nailer to kind of help with things like the floorboard and the siding. I really love it. I think it's adorable. Came with the little cutout and everything. The door was already prefabricated, so it's really, really durable. You can see that I did coat this, and that's because I wanted to do it before I put the batting down. I really need to do that so it matches, because it's already starting to get that weathered look, which is pretty, but not really the look I'm going for. So this is essentially the housing of the toilet. I bought this on eBay, I think $300. I really like it. It's absolutely beautiful. I put a bunch of coats of sealer on it because it's really thin pine, so I don't know that it's gonna be super durable. Probably 10 years or so that'll need to be replaced. But I also upgraded the toilet seat because I wanted to, but I don't like the plastic. So I got this one. Inside you can see how this kind of works. You see the black part, that's a urine diverter, and that is to separate the fluids from the solids. The solids would go back in that what turned out to be a cat food bin. It was really hard to find a bin that fit perfectly, so I was really being creative. I don't know if you can see in the back there, I've flanged just a regular stovepipe, a 4-inch stovepipe out the back. That's where the ventilation system will go. So in the ventilation pipe on the outside of it, where that'll hook into, there'll be a fan pulling the gases out and up. This is the pipe that will go behind and up over the roof. I'm gonna definitely need another piece of that. I don't think I realized it's actually quite a distance, and I want it to go high enough so that it's caught in the wind, the smells and stuff. So that's why I needed some source of electricity, because a composting toilet requires ventilation. There was no way to do it without that. So I could have done it much more simply and just gotten a sort of small rechargeable 12-volt battery, 2 of them, and then just swapped them out every time I came up here. But no, of course not. I had to decide to design my own system that is massive overkill. But I will have some power out here in case of an emergency. I'll also have an emergency solar kit so that if I lose power at home, I could come up here and grab that and bring it home. So I'm okay with the craziness. Now I have to take some measurements in here because I got to figure out where I'm going to put the solar components. Part of me thinks I like them back there, simply because it's out of sight, out of mind, but I can see now your head would be right at it, and I don't want that. So although this will be pulled out more, I'll have to sit see how far away it is. Oh, I forgot I have this beautiful wood. What in the world do I have that for? I don't even know. Perfect. I'm going to take that home with me because this is going to be the base of the solar components. So I've got a regulator, which will give me some AC. I've got the solar charge controller, fuse box, the wires. So it's going to take a little bit of space. Might do it down there. I don't know. I'll take some measurements and basically decide. This is not a huge space. So it's 4 by 4, but as you can see, the walls are only about 5 feet tall. So not a lot of space. But I'll get more into the solar system in my next video, and certainly give credit to the folks, one person in particular, who have taught me so much over the last 3 months or so, just reading. And I'm actually at home today, meeting some friends for dinner. So I decided I would work on my solar power system for the outhouse. Basically, I just have the fan that needs to be powered, but I figured might as well add an inverter in case I ever need to use like a chop saw or something that you just can't get in a powerless type tool. So I will make sure to post all the links to a lot of the folks that I watched to help me build this. I literally had no idea what I was doing. One in particular was awesome. Just not only taught me about like how to build the system, but also, you know, think about wire gauge sizes and fuse sizes and inverters and all kinds of stuff, even what batteries to look at. I chose a lead acid battery versus the lithium for a couple different reasons. One, I'm again just powering a fan, so I'm not too terribly concerned about the cycle time. Also, it's really, really cold out there, and some of the lithium, the phosphate type, you can't charge in the cold. That would be like a quarter of the year, so that wouldn't work. And you can add heaters and stuff, but this is already like way overkill, because I can show you this entire system is basically to run that. That's it. So a little bit ridiculous, yes, but I really wanted to learn how to do this because there isn't any power at the land, and so that was a big concern that ultimately this is the only form of power. If I need to charge things or stay up there for a week or whatever, I've got my phone and everything. The EP-Ever Tri-Run has a couple of USB charging ports, which is nice. This is, you know, in the outhouse, you'd have to leave your stuff. Those lights are not flashing in real world. They're only flashing because of the frequency, the LED, but those are solid. So we've got the photovoltaics on, the battery is charging, and supposedly the load is on. I don't know why the load is on. I don't have anything hooked up to the load, so that's weird. And then I just got a cheap modified sine wave inverter, 1000 watt. This is, you know, not for like computer equipment or anything like that, because it's not a pure sine wave. But I don't have any computers up there, so I'm not too worried about it. I realize I do have my new video editing computer, and in retrospect, I sort of wish I did get a pure sign, but whatever, it's fine. Yeah, you got 3 plugs right there, and when you turn it on, the little light comes on, and then the fan comes on. But I'm pretty excited. The whole process has taken me months of basically learning and reading and planning, because you change one component and it changes the design for the whole thing. So, at first I thought, okay, I'll use a larger charge control. This is just a 20 amp. But, for a fan, I don't need, any kind of crazy charge controller. That's way more than I need. I just have 1 panel now. I'll probably pick up a 2nd panel, just because as I watch, it's a cloudy day and the panel's not even angled at the sun. It's just laying on the ground, mostly because it's super windy. But it's been in for, you can't really see, 14, oh, it's not the kilowatt hours. It's been out there for probably the better part of an hour, and it's still not even registering 0.0 kilowatt hours. So, yeah, see. But that's okay. I don't know how many service hours this fan is going to last. It's actually a great fan. Has a lot of power. Actually draws up to 2.5 amps. So I was kind of surprised how beefy this was. And I won't need it on full. It's got kind of an adjuster, which is nice. But my curiosity is how many hours. Because I suspect I might need one of these suckers like once a year. Just because it's running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which is definitely not what this system was designed for. So it was really tough to find a fan that was going to fit my needs and was, DC. It's been a long search for a fan that I was happy with, and that's the best I could come up with. So that's about it. I'm pretty excited, and I'll get it installed, I think next weekend. And I think if I can get the ventilation system in, the outhouse will be officially live and running and online. All right, I'm just getting packed up. Tomorrow I'm heading up after my haircut. I got my solar power system, the battery, and then I've got a big toolbox here, grinder, because the fan has some brackets that have to be sheared off for it to fit in the stovepipe. I'm feeling optimistic. I'm going to try to get the solar system installed as well as the ventilation system. That's my cat Samosa. And for that reason, I'm going to bring up all the stuff for the ventilation and also for the toilet. So I've got some toilet paper there and just like a peanut tin. The urine collector will feed into that Tupperware thing. And then I've got some really old orchid bark, which is too old for my orchids, but will serve well for the compost toilet. This is just loaded up with specific tools. I've got the wires for the solar panels, the solar panel controller instructions, because I have to program the load. I switched over the fan from the main fuse box to the load, so I just have to program it to stay on, because right now I think it's set to go on with sunrise, sunset. I'm bringing those rollers and some the pan, because I'm going to do some staining of the teak furniture, or sealing of the teak furniture down at the wall tent. The panels, I should say. So I think I've made plenty of jokes about how overkill the system is for my needs. Well, turns out the most important calculation I needed to do was actually the last calculation I did, and that is the requirements. So normally you would start by determining your power requirements before designing your system. In my case, I wanted a system that was pretty robust so that I could power the inverter, so that I could use power tools, even though I really didn't need it, or I thought I didn't need it. And I thought the system was so overkill that I never bothered to actually calculate the requirements. It turns out the fan actually runs at about 41 watts at full speed. And wow, 41 watts is certainly not much to write home about. Most incandescent lights are more than that. When you're running it for 24 hours, 7 days a week, that adds up. So actually it adds up to almost a kilowatt hour per day. So that was a problem, because one solar panel, even in the summer, is going to generate maybe 500 watt hours max in a daily basis. So I got a second solar panel, which I thought barely hit it. The lead acid battery is about a 1200 watt hour battery, but you can only use half of that safely, so call it 600 watt hour. So I was a little bit nervous, because if my fan is using a kilowatt hour and my battery only has 600 watt hours, that is a deficit. But the good news is the fan is adjustable, and so what I've done is tested what volume of air I think I'm going to need, and it looks like about 10 watts. So that is a good surprise. So it turns out I do have a little bit of extra room. That would be about 240 watt hours per day. And with one panel in the summer, I'm generating about double that. With two panels in the winter, I should be more than enough to be able to use the battery for other things like chop saw, stuff like that. So it wasn't overkill. I'm super glad I designed this system to be upgradable. Never did I think I was going to be upgrading it in, like, you know, before it actually was put up. So yeah, I almost wish I went with the 40. I'm kicking myself. Oh, he was so strongly recommending the 40 amp, and I stuck with the 20. That's okay. This will be more than enough. I can get up to 3 panels on this system. 4 would not be safe in the summer. Could be okay in the winter. But you know, I think with one battery, I can't go above 2 panels anyway in the winter. So we're good. But I'm going to set that up tomorrow. So come along with me, and you know, you could help. All right, at the Outhouse site today. Gosh, what a beautiful day. Can't believe I'm in a t-shirt. It's you know, it's just been a really warm winter all around. Sort of a bit strange, but it's a beautiful day to be doing some work. There's also no clouds at all, so this will be fun to test. I did bring the second panel up, even though I'm probably not gonna keep it up for long. I'll probably, you know, squirrel it away in the outhouse or something for the summer, because I don't need that much. I put the panels just over here for now on a brush pile. I got to get rid of the brush pile. That is just from me clearing this area. This is the edge of what's called Someday Field, and it's called that because it's not a field today, but it will be someday. If you see the high trees, that's sort of the border of Someday Field. And then the sun is going to make it really challenging. It kind of stretches out that way too. So this is where ultimately the cabins will go, which is why I wanted the outhouse down here versus down at base camp, because it just makes more sense to put it here in the long term. It just doesn't make as much sense for the next couple of years. So anyway, I took everything out of the outhouse. I was kind of using it as a storage bin, so I took everything out. I got to find a place for most of that stuff or take it home. And then I've got to hang the primary board, drill 2 holes for the lines, connect it to the battery, and see what we're drawing as far as power. Oh, I do also have to cut down that tree right there, because it's really blocking a lot of my sunlight. I was thinking it would be nice to have like a couple of trees, but that one's just not really in the best spot. So all right, I'll give you a look when I get the board up and most of the components together. I'm a little bit rushing because it's 3 o'clock. Sun won't be up for too terribly long. I'd like to at least get some charge, so pardon me jumping ahead. Alrighty, Let's see how we did. We got the whole board attached, battery connected. Lost the bolt somewhere. I'm gonna have to go back to my car, see if it's in there. We are generating power. I don't know if you can see that. I can light up the thing, so not much. Just under an amp, only 32 watts, at about 41 volts. That's because they're in serial. I don't know that I'd get any better performance in parallel. They're, you know, interchangeable, but I don't know. It's not a ton of juice. I guess when you think about each one around this time of year, max rating is probably around 400 watt hours per day, so 800 for the two of them. If it's running around, well, it would need to be, sun would need to be up for like 24 hours. That's not going to happen. So I'm running at about half rating, but I obviously don't have the panels like angled at the sun in any meaningful way. They're just sort of tossed against the brush pile. I'll eventually put the rack in, which will allow me to kind of aim it a little bit better. But I think that's it for now. So my next project is that I got to go down to base camp to get my tin snips, because I have to cut a hole for the fan wire, which will go through the tube out and into the cigarette lighter. And then I have to hang the pipe on the outside, and inside you can see I just have to mark it where it is. That's about it. I have to put the urine collector in there and then put the dry bark, and then I have a working outhouse. So moving right along. It's about 3:30 now. So, and this was really my big project. I would have liked to get a little bit more wood cut, but I feel pretty confident I'm not going to be able to do that. Okay, this is my lighting system. So I got these two mini LED bars, and then I got this little DC motion detector because I didn't really want to have to mess around with switches or have to worry about someone leaving it on, which, you know, it's not a lot of electricity, but again, 24/7 will draw quite a bit. So I thought that'd be a fun idea. It was only a couple of bucks, and I can't wait actually until tonight. I'm gonna hike up here and give it a try. See if when I open the door, I tried to aim it at the door, so when you open the door, the lights come on and it's instantly on. I'm also tried to aim it towards the like roof, because I wanted more of the like soft light coming down. You know, I didn't want to be like blinded, and LEDs have a tendency to be pretty blinding. They don't look it now, but that's because it's daylight. So, and then I just took the wire. You see, I just ran it in the crack, down the hole. Got to get a couple more wire ties, and then into my little plug system. So you can see the whole design is based on the idea that I would be able to, if needed, come up and grab this whole panel, the battery and the two solar panels, pretty easily. So these disconnect pretty simply. Obviously the fan will disconnect pretty simply. You just need to undo the battery, the solar panel, and you're pretty much out. So it was not that I thought, you know, there was going to be an apocalypse or anything, although I will tell you right now, we're in the middle of the coronavirus stuff, so kind of chuckled like maybe I shouldn't install this thing. Maybe I should just keep it at home just in case. But I think that's kind of a little overzealous. So I will come back up here if I need to. But yeah, still charging pretty good. And all in all, I'm pretty happy. I haven't tested the inverter, but I wanted to give the battery some time to actually charge up because the battery wasn't full, so I might do that tomorrow. Guys, it's been so long since I've been up north to do any work. I was like, I'm going to need to explain this giant gap because I don't even think it's the same season. I don't even remember the last time I was there. I've been stuck at home like everybody else in the world due to this coronavirus. I am allowed to go to Maine at this point, and the only rule is I can't stop pretty much anywhere. So I just have to be like packed up completely so that I can get all the way to my land, and that means no coffee on the way because no bathroom breaks. So I have gone up a couple times since this all started, but I desperately needed to just relax and enjoy it. So my sister went one of those times, and my best friend went another. So I did not do any work, and therefore I did not record it. So we will pick up where we left off. It's just a different season and a whole lot of, yeah, it's a lot warmer, a lot warmer. This is basically the same temperature as when I built the outhouse, which was probably about a year ago, right around now. And I just need like one last piece. I got the reciprocating saw blade, so I should be able to get that last piece and then get the vent up and fan in, and that will be a working outhouse completely. Right now it's just working for urine. I don't know how to say that in a better way. But I got a lot to do because I've got my big open invite camping trip the first week in July. And I have who knows how many people coming, because sometimes nobody comes, sometimes a bunch of people come. It's a no RSVP thing that I do. So yeah, anyway, gonna get it done this weekend. It's Friday night now. I'm just getting packed and getting organized and making sure I have the right tools so I don't get up there and can't finish because I can't go to the hardware store or anything. So in any case, sorry for the long gap between videos, but you didn't really want a video of me sitting on the couch at home, did you? Probably not, no. All right, it's Saturday. Got a bunch of stuff to do today. I'm most excited about getting the outhouse finished. So I'm anxious to get started on that because the sooner I'm done it, I'm gonna feel really good. First though, I gotta bring the grill down to the campsite base camp because it was on top of my car and it's just too easy to steal. This winter we had not a lot of snow, but we had some pretty good cold. I had really hoped that it would have killed off all the ticks because I have a massive tick problem here. They aren't horrible, but I've already had 3. 1 on me and 2 on my stuff. So I'm going to change into my pants, first of all, because they're white, so you can see ticks easier. Second of all, because they are heavily coated in permethrin. So if they do get on me, they won't survive. I do have a tick key on me just in case, but I would just rather avoid having them bite me. But kind of stinks. It's so hot. I don't want to put pants on, but I'd rather be hot than get bit, so I'll do that. All right, here's the situation I'm in. Some hornets had made a couple of nests in here, and I have removed them. But the hornets are still looking for their nest. See him? I don't know if you can see that. He's like, where's my house? I feel a little guilty, but this is, you know, this is mine. I mean, you have the whole forest, man. Like, I just need a little space to go to the bathroom. But, oh, man. I just feel like there's always something that delays this project. Maybe if I get the reciprocating saw going, it will scare them out of here. What a bummer. I am not that worried. I'm allergic to yellow jackets, and although that thing kind of does look like a yellow jacket, I'm pretty sure yellow jackets live in the ground. So that's got to be some other kind of wasp. Maybe I should look that up before I get the saw out. I don't know. There's always something. There's not a ton of space back here, so it was really hard to film or record, whatever you call it. So you can see I had to finish this hole. I had done half of it on this side with the jigsaw, but because of the batten, look how thin I got that guy, a little too thin. But it's in there. And then we have the bracket, which is unfortunately too big for this pipe. It's tightened as much as it can go. So I have another hose clamp in there just to kind of hold it in place. And then you can see it's got a little hat to prevent rain. It's not really durable right now. There's definitely no doubt about that. This is pretty much like shoddy work. But for now, this will work. And then now I just need to assemble the fan. So the fan will connect to that, and then the fan will also connect to the vent in here, so that it pulls the air into the toilet and out the vent and up, so that the gases don't build up in here. Hopefully it won't be too stinky. I have an adjustable fan, so I brought incense so I can run a test, and I'll put the fan on like medium, get the incense going, and then put it in the toilet. Slowly I will turn the fan down until I can start to smell the incense, because I'm looking for kind of a constant negative pressure in the toilet bin, the solid waste bin. So but I'm almost there. Very happy. It's almost 3. This took a lot longer than I thought it was, mostly because of the hornets. I had to wait them out, and I don't know, it's just like every step is moving very slowly because it's so hot up here and so humid. I'm just sweating like crazy. So in any case, I will probably set this up so you can see me tape up the fan and get it started, and we'll go from there. This is not exactly what you call high quality work, but it's gonna work. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Power. Wait a minute. Well, unfortunately, I cannot get this fan running. So it's either the fan, but it was running for a second, so I don't think it is. It's this wire harness. Yeah, that's it, because I ran it right off the terminals. Nothing. So I think I have my portable battery down at the campsite, which has a car jack in it, and I think I'll try that. If it doesn't work, it means I somehow fried the fan. If it does work, it means I just need to wire this differently, because I've got a fault somewhere. I am covered in sweat though, so I think I'm calling it a day on the outhouse. I wish I could get it done, but I can't. Guys, this car is packed. Like, look at this. The back, I'm telling you. And then get the trunk just filled. And I'm really good at packing, so this is a lot of stuff. There's still more room. I could have fit a little bit more. But I've got the fan here. I've got a new fan. For some reason the other one was shorting out the fuse. I changed the fuse. It immediately shorted it out. So I put a 10 amp in just to see what would happen, because I knew the car fuse was 15. So immediately blew. So kind of funny that the only piece of wiring that I didn't do was flawed. So hopefully I have better luck with my own work. Okay, so first I have to wire the load back in, because I was trying to troubleshoot and left the load unconnected. Hello. Alright, another fail. The fan doesn't work again. Okay. But whatever. Cool. It's done. You hear that noise? That is the sound of the fan. So it's actually 3 weeks later. As you could kind of hear from the last video, my friends started showing up. I do a big open invite camping trip for a week every year and just invite everybody. And I have all the gear and food and everything. They just have to bring drinks. So I wanted to spend time with them and not be trying to record. I ultimately, what it came down to was the inline fuse. There was a fuse in the line, so as soon as I replaced that, it works great. I do think I'm operating with a bit of a deficit in terms of power. I brought some equipment with me so that I could just get some measurements and see where we're at, but I think I'm losing just I'm using a little bit more power than I'm generating on a daily basis. And just looking at the solar panels that are in the shade, that could be partly why. So probably gonna have to relocate the panels, but it's working. It actually smells lovely. Better than using my own bathroom, because the fan pulls all the gases and everything right out. So I'm pretty excited. We used it, it got about 17 uses during my week, and still running like a champ. So far, now the only thing left to do is see if it turns to compost, but it's time to start another project.